Right, on to trending topics we'll go. So let's take a look at see what's on the top of the trends list for now. Sonar 2022, of course, that's the big story for today. We all know the president is expected to deliver the State of the Nation address 7 o'clock this evening, and that's the big story we're leading with. I mean, of course, it's not happening at the National Assembly, which unfortunately was burnt down the beginning of this year, which is a terrible, terrible story, but it is going ahead. It will be happening at the Cape Town City Hall, and I suppose one has to wonder if it's going to be the usual pomp and ceremony that represents the State of the Nation address, or if it'll be a toned-down affair. Well, we'll get to see all of that later on this afternoon, but roads are all closed, and, well, they're starting to close, and preparations, there were rehearsals the last few days, and the president, as many people have been saying, has one of the, if not the hardest address that he has to give to the nation. But we seem to say that every year, but it certainly does. After 2021, 2022, and the state that South Africa finds ourselves in, we are expecting a lot out of this one. So tune into SABC News. We'll keep you covered on that one at 7 o'clock for the live address. All right, next one, City of Tshwane. Oh, the City of Tshwane were in trouble yesterday. They were in big trouble. Everything was being switched off left, right and center. I mean, it was just crazy. But listen, at the end of the day, you don't pay your bills. That's what must happen. So the City of Tshwane saw the wrath of the mayor and his team going to all these different places. They first arrived at the South African National Defence Force Navy officers to cut off the electricity supply because of more than 3 million rand that they allegedly have in unpaid property rates. That was the one of them. Then another one, I think they went to the Department of Water and Sanitation. They also went out there and they said, no, we're cutting you off. You decided to not pay, so we're going to cut you off. Then they also went to the Sheraton Hotel. Unpaid bills at the Sheraton Hotel amounting to millions. I mean, I think it was something like a 23 million rand bill. And they said, sorry for you. Boom, there goes the switch, and it was all off. But they weren't the only ones. There was just a lot happening. So what they were basically saying is that there are about 17 billion rand in unpaid bills in the metro, and they were just going out and cutting off defaulters without any mercy. So that's what happened, and yeah, I don't think it's going to end there. I think it'll continue, but that was why the City of Tshwane was trending and still is trending. Who knows what will happen today? All right, next trending topic. This is an interesting one. Interesting and yet a very sad story, in fact, because Mara Phones. Now, Mara Phones has now reportedly gone bust in South Africa despite a 100 million rand tax break and government preference. I mean, there was a big song and dance about Mara Phones, and this is going to be the phone that is going to be produced, manufactured on the continent, was going to create loads of jobs, and this was just going to be incredible, and it was getting hefty tax incentives. And apparently now it's gone. It's now just the factories are empty, they're being auctioned off, and that was it. It was launched in 2019 to a lot of fanfare, and it's now been it's on sale after being taken over by funders. It was granted a 100 million rand tax break and had the promise that the government would give it preference when any of its departments bought cell phones until 2026. It was just, one of those that we were really hoping would happen, but I think something that is going to be looked into quite a lot. But the factory is on auction for whatever the highest bidder will pay, with the hopes that it will be sold as a going concern, but with its individual pieces of equipment also on offer if no single buyer can be found. So this is a very, very big story, the Mara Phone story, and we'll continue to watch it and see what happens and if anything fishy is going on, because a lot of people seem to think there's more to the story than meets the eye. Well, that's according to the Twitter Rati and the Twitter detective. So we'll look at that. Then, of course, there is that next one, the Tembisa Hospital. What a sad, devastating story that we saw coming out yesterday from the Tembisa Hospital. I mean, basically, a police officer arrived at the hospital. He was in his car, and he called for his girlfriend or wife at the time, I'm not too sure, called her down, wanted to speak to her, and then opened fire on her, killed her, and then shot himself. I mean, it was just a devastating story, absolutely terrible. Tembisa Hospital then was, of course, closed, and, then it was just Another story, another gender-based violence story that shook the country and rocked us yesterday in a terrible, terrible way. And it's absolutely horrific. It really is. So an intimate partner shooting his loved one, a domestic violence incident. It is a very big problem, and we do know that this is something that South Africa struggles with in a great way. So not sure if Tembisa Hospital has reopened. I think it may be. Okay, it has been reopened. It was closed for the greater part of yesterday while investigations were underway, and I know that the man that was shooting was at the Mill Park Hospital, and we're not sure what condition he's in, but we'll try and get an update and see what's happening there. All right, and then our final trending topic, lots of trending topics happening today, is Zuma, and not the Zuma we know, the other Zuma. This Zuma is all about a Zuma and a cat. It's a bizarre story, but Western footballer Kurt Zuma has been fined £250,000, which in a nutshell is 2 weeks of his wages, if you would believe, after footage emerged of him kicking his cat. It's understood that all the proceeds will be donated to animal charities, and this is all everybody is now speaking about. And apparently the RSPCA, that's the version of our SABC, they've taken the cats away now from Zuma, and so it's just, that's what everybody's talking about. And there's a video doing the round of Zuma kicking his cats, so that's why Zuma's trending. But as I say, not our Zuma, their Zuma, which is different for now. Anyway, that's it. That's where we wrap it for this morning.